What's up, homies? It's me, DL Henry, and today I want to talk about two major issues I've been hearing from new hosts. Now, the first thing I've been hearing about is less bookings. This means that your calendar is looking real spotty when it comes to being booked throughout the month, or that you're predominantly receiving those bookings on the weekends and your weekdays are going unnoticed. That's a problem, right? And so the second thing is that you have super high expenses, whereas your profits aren't yielding the type of return that you would like it to do. So what I want to do is double down and kind of hone in on some of these topics and provide you with some tips so that you can potentially make necessary changes so that you can be successful. All right, let's get into it. Starting off with less bookings. There are going to be 5 topics that I really want to hit. It's going to be your location, your design, the amenities you provide, the reviews that you have on that unit, and your price point. So let's talk location real quick. Whether you're in the downtown area or if you're in the rural or you in the hood, that's all those locations going to yield very different types of guests. So if you're in a downtown location, you have prime real estate. What that means is you probably have, you're nearby to activities. Maybe your unit is very walkable for guests to, go to popular restaurants and things of that nature. So you got prime real estate, like you winning right now. If you're in a more rural type of area or you are in the hood, it's going to require a lot from you in order for you to really showcase your unit to be of value, because there's not much that you can do once you already have your unit in those places. You have to capitalize on those other 4 things that I'm going to talk about. So let's dive right into design. Design is what's going to actually attract you to your guests. If you've been doing any research on Airbnb today, honey, those pictures is looking real flawless. Like, the designs of the spaces are top tier right now. And what that means is the guests that we're having in 2022 is much more sophisticated than it has been in the past. Like, we're wanting experiences. If you're ever a guest, you understand when you arrive to a space, like, you want it to be like really nice. You want it to have a whole lot of things going on so that you feel like you have the value in that unit. So your design is going to be key, and you want to make sure your photos are top tier. All right, so let's talk about amenities. Amenities is going to cover maybe you got a game room in your space. Maybe you got an exercise room in your space. Maybe you have a meditation room. Maybe you have a fire pit, fireplace. Like, all of these things that kind of like raise the value of your unit is going to really make your particular short-term rental stand out. Other amenities is the quality of the items that you put in your place. So I'm talking about cookware. I need that Martha Stewart non-stick, so when I make my eggs, it don't stick to the frying pan, and when it's time to wash dishes and such, I don't have to use as much elbow grease because you have quality items in there. Like, these things are gonna just continue to raise the value of what your unit is, and people are gonna want to gravitate towards that. So that's kind of how you kind of get over that hurdle of your location. So real quick, let's talk about your reviews. If you are hitting the location really well, your design is looking real good and your amenities are spot on, it's going to naturally reflect in your reviews. And when you have those positive reviews, it pings the algorithm continuously. Like, look at this listing right here. They're doing everything they need to do, right? And the same thing happens when you get negative reviews. It also impacts where you stand, where you rack and stack against your competitors. So you go away from the first and second page and you go to page 4, 5, and 6. And honey, guess what I ain't doing when I'm searching for a spot? I'm not going all the way to page 5, 6, and 7 to find a unit. So you really want to make sure that your ratings stay high and that your guests are very pleased with the experience that you provide, so that your listing is actually being pinged on the algorithm and you're being very competitive against the other listings around. Let's also talk about the last thing. The last thing is your price point. If you are attacking all of these things, make sure that your price point is commensurate to the type of service that you're providing, to the type of home that you're putting out there, right? If you have like super cheap items in the house and you have your price points jacked really high, like, that's not gonna cut it here today in 2022. Maybe it did back in 2015, but not at this day and age, right? So make sure your price points make sense. Also, pay attention to the seasonality of your unit in terms of where the area that you're in. Here in Atlanta, the peak season is during the summertime. So you can raise your price points because you have a whole lot of travelers coming in for concerts, they coming in to Six Flags, they coming in to go to Midtown, they come and have a good time. In the winter, it's it's very much different. So your price points have to lower just a tad bit. And I'm not talking about low volume stuff, but definitely make sure you're aware of what your seasonalities are, so your numbers make sense altogether. Another thing is when it comes to setting it and forgetting it. This is not like being in the short-term rental space is not like a rotisserie chicken. You can't set it and forget it. Never touch your listings at all. It does require you to, manipulate your descriptions from time to time. Make sure that stays updated. Your photos stay updated. You change out your titles from time to time. And this also kind of gives you those pings on the algorithm. The short-term rental space is the active sport. That's something I've heard from Coach Cav. If you're familiar with him, he's also within the industry. I always thought that term was clever. But yes, being in the short-term rental space is an active sport. It requires you to be active. So you definitely can't set it and forget it. Now let's talk about expenses really, really quick. Some of your expenses that you may be seeing if you're having a more passive approach could be your automated systems, any type of property management system that you may have, or any type of pricing system or pricing tools that you may have integrated. They cost. If you have a property management company, being a co-host with your property, guess what? The fees cost, and that's also going to impact your margins. Other type of fees you may be looking at is your typical utilities bill. It's going to be any type of reoccurring maintenance fees, maybe your lawn care, things of that nature. You're also going to run into any type of services or, serving, like exchanging out your linens and things of that nature. All of that replenishment costs. I'm out here being tongue-tied. But that costs. So in terms of that, you want to really kind of mediate those fees and taking a look at your utilities. A lot of times what we do is hop right in during the promo season. And that promo is really low for a term. And then you start seeing this variable rate of your bill just going up and up, or it has a lot of fluctuation going on. What you need to do is go back and negotiate with your company, kind of inquire about it, see if they have any more promo services that you can hop on. Or see if they offer any type of fixed rate that will allow you to kind of predict what those fees will be ahead of time, and you will be able to adjust your numbers to, to make it make sense overall. Another thing that you can do now when it comes to more of the passive approach and the fees that you accrue on that side of the house is be more active. Now, we talked about this briefly before, but what being active means is consider self-management. Yep, I said it. It could come off, that can be very, scary for some people, but it ain't gotta be scary. It ain't gotta be chaotic either, and you don't have to experience burnout. So self-management is a thing. We still self-manage our unit, right? And we use a lot of analog systems as well. I mean, yes, we do the automated systems that come with the software, with the platform, like Airbnb, we use the automated systems. But we also have other types of, Excel files and trackers that are analog, and it's super effective and it's free, So those simple systems are still what we use when we have one property, and it's what we use today when we have multiple properties. So that's why you got to get with the home team. That is something that I am very passionate about, is teaching you how to self-manage your short-term rental as well, and that is a way that you can save those coins. Maximize those coins when you do so. If that is something that you're considering, you've never thought about, you may have thought about it and it may have been daunting, it's not. Go ahead and ask me any questions, reach out, DM me if you would love to know more about that. I could definitely help you with that. So get with the home team. Get with the home team now. All right, all I have right now, this has been D.L. Henry, y'all. Peace.